He's referred to as Mr. Video Game for a reason. If Mickey Mouse is often seen as the face of animation, then Mario is the face of video games. He's the icon of one of the most recognizable video game companies in the world, Nintendo, going on countless adventures through the Mushroom Kingdom, Dinosaur Island, Isle Delfino, and even across the globe, through the galaxy, and even time itself to keep those around him safe. We all know about the same setup Mario has been doing for years. He, alongside his brother Luigi, attempt to save Princess Peach from Bowser or King Koopa. Though sometimes he'll face a new threat, like Fawful, Tagangu, Count Bleck, King Wart and Smithy. And he's ventured through more genres than he's faced new enemies. Nintendo always likes to put Mario into a new unfamiliar scene, from his 2D and 3D platformers, kart racers, party games, multiple RPGs, puzzle games, educational games, level maker games, fighting games, sports games, mobile games, and the list just goes on and on. But there's one field Nintendo has never let Jumpman into, and that is horror. Though it's understandable as to why, considering that Nintendo is meant to be an icon for all audiences. That doesn't mean that horror has to be strictly for adults. There are multiple family-friendly horror products that kids love and enjoy, from Five Nights at Freddy's, The Courage the Cowardly Dog, and the classic tales of Goosebumps. Who's to say that Mario couldn't explore this creepy abandoned alley? Well, if Nintendo won't, then the fans will. Today we'll be looking at 5 horror games starring Nintendo's Red Plumber, as he's forced into terrifying situations. Welcome to Cackling Pumpkins, and this is the creepy world of Mario horror. Mario. Mario is a creepypasta about a mysterious fan-made ROM hack of Super Mario World uploaded on the internet. It having creepy aspects isn't so strange in that regard, considering that ROM hacks involve fans of the game's mechanics and modifying them into something entirely new. But this one actually has a story to tell. The story of Mario being the villain, and the empty wastelands he's walking in are a hell of his own creation. If you ever wanted to try this ROM hack for yourself, then you're in luck, as someone ended up recreating the game that the creepypasta details and uploaded it on SMW Central. SMW Central, or rather Super Mario World Central, being a website dedicated to releasing fan-made ROMs of both Super Mario World and Super Mario 64. The ROM starts with the title screen now altered to simply say, Mario. The intro was also rearranged as well, now claiming that Mario kidnapped Peach and not Bowser. Yoshi's house is completely missing from the map, as when you enter the level it will be completely empty. Text blocks will have completely different messages telling the player, or rather Mario, how much disdain they have for him, and that his venture is pointless. The ROM hack itself isn't the only thing inside the game, or rather its folder. There is another file also described in the creepypasta called 3007401. On its own, it's a simple text document filled with complete nonsense and the repeated term, find me. If this text document is converted into a JPEG, then it will show its true form. Super Mario 64, but different. Super Mario 64, but different, is a fan game based on Super Mario 64. It starts with a cinematic intro of Mario walking through Bob-omb Battlefield. As he begins walking uphill to where he would normally fight King Bob-omb, the screen cuts to the penguin mother seen in Cool Cool Mountain. She claims that Mario took something dear from her, and she intends to do the same to him, as she forces him to break all of Luigi's limbs one by one. But it's alright, cause it was just a dream. And this is where the real game begins. Mario gets an invitation to Peach's castle to get something a little better than cake. It's now nighttime as Mario approaches Toadstool's castle. He enters the painting returning to Bob-omb Battlefield. From there you must complete the objective of each world while facing all of their threats. But be warned, there are alternate routes you can take depending on the choices that you make, which could lead to different endings depending on what you do. So venture around to each world and find all of their secrets, for Mario's sake, and your own. The Music Box. An RPG Maker Mario horror game? That shouldn't be too surprising considering that many have used RPG Maker to make tons of memorable horror experiences, like Off, Misao, The Witch's House, Ebe, and Yume Nikki. But considering the type of engine this is, you have to wonder how someone can make a Mario horror game with it, especially since Mario is less about the story and more about the adventure and, well, most of the time anyway, RPG Maker is typically the opposite. Yet, here we are. The Music Box. There is a mansion in the middle of the forest. one that is rumored to eat those who enter. Mario goes to investigate to find out what happened to these people, only to regret his decision. He finds a music box playing on its own as the lights go out. He tries to escape only to find that the door he entered the mansion with is now gone. Mario is then forced into life-threatening, horrifying situations involving those he's never met before, and even his own brother Luigi. Find your way out through the mansion as both Mario and Luigi, and survive if you can. Call of Cthulhu. If there's one thing Mario ROM hacks have over games like Super Mario Maker, it's how while you have a lot of tools in Super Mario Maker, you are limited to their primary functions, while with ROM hacking, or something like Lunar Magic, you can take almost any tool and turn it into something entirely new. Some people have even made their own games with Lunar Magic. One such game is Call of Cthulhu. Mario ventures to the land of Rahil to save a girl from being sacrificed to Cthulhu. Each level has its own mechanics that were not present in the original game. It's quite impressive what the developers were able to do with this title. Custom sprites, unique level design, new music, level intros, a new world map, new gameplay mechanics, a level filled with structures that change their axis based on your position, and one where you can jump from the foreground to the background. Though the game does encourage save states for several reasons that you'll find out when playing the game, so it's far from perfect. But I will gladly say that Super Mario World, Call of Cthulhu is one of the best Mario ROM hacks out there. Not to undermine all of the other creative ROMs out there, you should definitely check them out too. Super Mario Galore. On its own, Super Mario Galore looks like a fan game that was made from the ground up. The music, models, sound effects, and engine seem to be completely new and decently made at that. Not perfect by all means, as the game does lack some polish, but for what it is, the game isn't half bad. The game was developed by a user named Ziggity. You complete the first level by beating a piranha plant boss, but before you can get to the flagpole, you run out of time. The same level seemingly restarts, but now there's no timer and all of the enemies are gone. And halfway through, the textures in the background begin to warp as Mario walks around nervously. Once he gets to what should be the end of the level, it completely changes into a lava-filled hellscape. Mario begins to bleed as he soon faces the same piranha plant boss as before, which is now transformed into a hellish version of itself. The game continues with each level having its own mechanics, a level where you have to hide from giant colorless Mario heads in the background, a boo house that transforms into a realistic home filled with outstretched Mario copies, jumping in the stomach of a giant eel as drowned Mario corpses swim after you. Complete each level, and divert from the original path to collect green stars, and you might survive this twisted adventure.